Good morning and happy Tuesday, February 18th, 2020. You're watching the Daily Mix TV. Hi, my name is Sean Patrick Hillman. Hope you guys had a great President's Day weekend. In New York, it was absolutely stunning. I got to take Rolo out for a really nice long walk yesterday, so can't complain about that. On to the news. Pier 1 Imports has filed for bankruptcy protection to get itself ready for sale. Now, we discussed this a few weeks ago when the retailer announced that they were closing 450 doors. However, now Pier 1 is stating it's got, quote, multiple potential buyers and is securing debtor in possession financing from the banks. Pier 1 is one of those very rare specialty retailers that's had such an interesting history. They were founded in 1962 as a single store in California that specialized in Asian imports. Now, I would know, Kylie and I, when we had our first two apartments on the Upper East Side, we used to buy furniture and accessories from Pier 1. It was really well priced, and we loved the style of furniture. However, what's interesting to note is that they sat on their laurels for a long time. They didn't actually introduce a website until 2012. Now, that's despite online competitors like Wayfair, who were growing at the time. Now, let me take a break from the Pier 1 story. It is important to note, Wayfair is having their own challenges right now. They just laid off 3% of their global workforce, or about 550 jobs, and since they launched in 2002, they still have yet to turn a profit. That's right, in 18 years, this company has been VC-backed and funded. So let's put this into a little perspective. They've burned through about $400 million with the current plan of burn spending on advertising, marketing, and acquisition, with the hope of eventually turning a profit. Now, most companies, and this is exactly what's wrong with business today, most companies 18 years to become profitable? Are you kidding me? So when you look at Wayfair and the deals that they offer and the things that they do, it's a great company. Don't get me wrong. I've bought things from Wayfair. My mother has. My wife has. But at the end of the day, 18 years is a very, very long time to go without profitability. So they're doing a burn rate right now of 100%. They're losing money left and right, yet venture capital is still pouring money in because basically what they're doing, they're on an acquisition path and they're outspending their competitors on advertising in order to grow their customer base. The problem is, as Mr. Wonderful is always so poignantly on point to point out on Shark Tank, that their customer acquisition costs are out of control. So when you look at Wayfair as a company, it's not a model to basically look up to. It's a model to say, oh my God, what is wrong with these people? So this company's been around since 2002. They have yet to turn a profit despite going public in 2014. That is not a good business, folks. Essentially, it's borrowing from Peter to pay Paul as a business plan, which doesn't work. So when I see stories about Pier 1 citing Wayfair as a potential problem and how great the company is, yes, Wayfair is a good company. In terms of the products that they offer, is it a good company from a business perspective? Not so much. 18 years without profitability is a serious problem. Pier 1, on the other hand, they've had a really good run, but the challenge really was they didn't go online fast enough. It's like the music business. It's like Hollywood. Everybody thought the internet was going to go away. Folks, when you give a human being an outlet of information, a way of freedom, getting them to release that is damn near impossible. So the idea that these retailers thought the internet was going to go away, or that, they had a lockup on their business, sorry, that doesn't work that way. So hopefully in this context, Pier 1, whoever ends up buying it, hopefully will do the right thing by the brand, will expand their online presence and bring them back to profitability. Boy Scouts of America has filed for bankruptcy protection. The 110-year-old organization has listed liabilities between $100 million and $500 million as they face hundreds of sexual abuse lawsuits and a shrinking membership. Now, the bankruptcy filing means that all of those civil litigations, all those lawsuits against the organization are suspended. but the nonprofit's financially independent local councils have not filed for bankruptcy. That leaves the door open for more legal moves by alleged victims. It's sad to see an organization like the Boy Scouts of America, which is steeped in Americana, in such a way I can't even begin to explain or express. But when you think about all of the things that you hear as a child about the Boy Scouts, the Cub Scouts, the Girl Scouts, and so on, it's sad to see an organization like this being marred by people who really, honestly, even though these are allegations, something had to have happened, obviously, and it's just disgusting that people behave that way. I really hope that somehow Boy Scouts are able to survive this time period because, frankly, we need organizations like this to help our children learn responsibility and to grow up the right way. So, only time will tell. We'll keep an eye on it for you and get back to you when there's more news. Apple has warned that it will not meet its quarterly revenue forecast due to the impact of the coronavirus. Now, Apple has been on a tear lately. I mean, think about this. When they reported fourth quarter earnings last month, stock went up, everybody was happy. Then coronavirus expanded, and God knows what that's done. The company said that essentially they're taking a temporary hit by a drop in Chinese demand and lower iPhone supply globally as its production in China ramps up slowly after factory closures. So what happened was, because of the coronavirus, China put a clamp down on their factories, told them to stop working, stay home. They extended the Lunar New Year holiday in order to keep people essentially in their homes and stop them from spreading the virus. So now they're slowly ramping up production again, but that's not enough for Apple to be able to pull in enough supply so that they can meet demand. Now, sadly, a study released by Dun & Bradstreet is suggesting that about 5 million businesses worldwide are expected to be impacted by the outbreak. Now, the Chinese provinces most affected by the virus are the ones that are tightly linked to global supply chains. That's where a lot of manufacturing is coming from. So this is where the global economy fails every single time. When you're counting on a government that's not always honest. Okay, so you tell me what government is ever 100% honest, but with all due respect, when it comes to China, you're counting on one that regularly misleads companies that they do business with. So you've got to ask the question, is it the right move for my company and brand? Is domestic or local manufacturing possible, and is it cost effective? Is there a way to do it locally without breaking the bank? The notion of made in the USA during the 80s sort of, had that resurgence. Then right after 9/11, it had another resurgence. And then, of course, cost cutting came in, and you had call centers being farmed out and all of those things. When it comes to today's economy, there has to be a way where you can find the balance between cost and profit to actually manufacture locally. The issue in the United States, frankly, is one of pension cost, healthcare cost, those kinds of things. Unions drive up a lot of those costs. And don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-union. I think unions are an amazing set of organizations as long as they're doing the right thing by all parties involved. At the end of the day, though, when you look at manufacturing in this country, it has suffered greatly because of those increased costs. So hopefully we're able to find a way for a middle ground sometime soon. Things are not so rosy at Walmart after all. The mass retailer is discontinuing JetBlack, its text-based personal shopping service. Now, they launched back in 2018 in May as the first business to go live from Walmart's tech incubator called Store Number 8. JetBlack allowed their members who paid a $50 monthly fee to order items over the phone via text message with products delivered either the same or next day for no extra charge. Now, it also gave members access to personal shoppers who offered gift or product recommendations. It included perks like free gift wrapping. Now, it's interesting the way that Walmart did this. While some of the products were pulled from Walmart and Jet.com for customers, other items and specialty products sold via JetBlack were actually procured from local brands and specialty shops. So where did they go wrong? Well, in a corporate blog post, Scott Eckert, who's the senior VP of Next Generation Retail of Walmart and is the head of store number 8, said JetBlack will graduate to join Walmart's customer organization. So what does that really mean? Well, it means that Walmart's shutting down JetBlack as a standalone offering. He posted, quote, "As we said in the beginning when we launched JetBlack, part of the initiative was to start testing and building technology with the intent that it could be used in other ways, including applying it to other parts of the business." Now, does that sound vaguely familiar to you? Well, it should, because we had a similar comment from another company, another retailer, just last month. Macy's made a similar statement for their failed push on their Story acquisition, wherein they claimed they opened all of these store-within-a-store concepts across doors, and they're now closing over half the locations, and that was the plan all along. Basically, what they stated was after they acquired Story as a business, they wanted to test it out in local markets, so they cast this wide net, opening all of these store-within-a-stores to then only close half of them. Here's my issue. Surely Walmart in this situation could have come up with a better response than this. I mean, this is amateur hour at best. So with the Macy's Story issue, I slammed them a few weeks ago for the same thing. Now, just to close this out, I just read on CNBC.com that JetBlack notified customers on Thursday via email and text that it's no longer going to accept new orders, but that they would fulfill pending ones. They also stated they're going to refund customers their most recent $50 monthly membership fee, and apparently, this is what I don't understand. Walmart was losing roughly $15,000 per month on the service. So I don't blame them for shutting it down, but this kind of spin is amateur hour at best. I mean, how you think people are that dumb is beyond me, especially when it comes to business and marketing. Now, speaking of amateur hour, so on Saturday, I was walking Snickers out the back door of our building. And she's, our oldest dog. She's 11 years old. She wears a muzzle when I walk her and when Kylie walks her because she doesn't get along with a lot of other dogs. And we wanted to be proactive to make sure that if, we were busy picking something up on the street, that she didn't, jump out and bite another dog or, try and lash out against them. So I'm walking out the back door of our building, and this gentleman literally looks at her and starts making fun of her. And as any of you who know me knows, I'm very protective of our dogs. So I said to the guy, look, you know what? Why don't you mind your own business and just go about your day, okay? I mean, I was trying to be respectful and nice, even though he wasn't. Well, as it turns out, he works for a moving company that, and I won't out them, but he works for a moving company that I've used a lot over the last 20 years. So he just kept going and excuse me, sorry, I still have a tickle in my throat. He just kept making fun of her and basically saying she was dangerous and all these things. And I finally turned to him, I said, you know what? I know the company you work for, I use them, and I'm going to be rethinking that in the future. So I then asked for the foreman of that moving crew. I explained what the gentleman had said. Foreman says to me, oh well, and just sort of blew it off. Are you kidding right now? You're wearing the jacket of the moving company you work for. Therefore, you're a representative of that brand. And that is how you address a customer who cites an issue with one of your employees. Are you kidding me? So I got on the phone today with the general manager of the business, the whole business. And needless to say, the gentleman who was making fun of Snickers doesn't have a job. And she could not have been more apologetic. So Nancy, you know who I am. I just wanted to say thank you for the conversation. Now, lastly, and then we're out because I'm out of time, I've got to give kudos to the Cinnabon social team. These guys really stay on top of their game. On Valentine's Day, I was struck by the sweet frosting fairy on Twitter. Check it out. Cinnabon pushed out the hashtag Life Needs Frosting. I gotta say, this is one of the best examples of social community management I've seen in a long time. They're consistent, they keep loyal followers engaged, and continue to push the limits of messaging creativity. I absolutely love these guys. The fact that they continue to engage me and several others who are regular participants in their hashtag sweet talk or in some of their other promos, that is the sign of a good social media management team. You keep people engaged, they keep sharing your content. So kudos to you guys. Thank you, Cinnabon, for making my Valentine's Day so sweet. All right, guys, I'm out of time. My name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Daily Mix TV. If you have any questions, comments, or story ideas, please email thedailymixtv@gmail.com. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow on Hump Day.